Do you flush your potted plants? Now, I'm not talking about taking your dead plants and flushing them down the toilet. I'm talking about flushing your healthy plants. Do you do that? There seems to be a lot of confusion about what is flushing, should you do it, when should you do it, and who should do it. And that's what we're going to have a look at in this program, all about flushing. Well, how do you flush a potted plant? It's really simple. Take your plant, take a container with water in it, pour it into the pot, nice and slow. Let the water run through the plant and out the bottom. That's it. You just flushed your plant. The water that you collect out the bottom of the plant can be discarded or use it in your garden. It does have nutrients in it, so it will feed plants. It's a shame to waste those nutrients. How much water should you use? Well, that's a little trickier to answer. It really depends on your growing condition. If you flush regularly, you don't have to use quite so much water. If you haven't done it in a long time, then use more water. As a general rule of thumb, when you flush, put in enough water so that at least half the volume of the pot comes out the bottom. You want to see a good amount of water coming out the bottom. That's critical. How often should you flush? Well, this is a little complicated too, and again depends on how you grow your plant. If you use a lot of fertilizer, you should flush more often. If your water is very hard or alkaline, so it has a lot of salts in it, you should flush more often. If you bottom water or wick water, you should flush more often. If you water like I do and you top water, you have to flush very little. In fact, every time you water, if you put a little excess in it, it flows out the bottom, and so you're really flushing every time you water your houseplant. And that's my preferred method. I see a lot of comments online that say flushing harms plants. One person wrote in and said, I don't flush anymore because I tried it once and it killed my plant. That's simply not possible. If you flush and you harm your plant, the problem isn't the flushing. The problem is that you're not growing your plant properly in the first place. Let's look at a few examples. Orchids, for instance. Orchids should be potted in a very porous material. I use coconut chunks. I can pour as much water in there as I want. It's not going to make the plant too wet. Now, if I'm growing my orchid in, say, peat moss, sure, that's a problem. But the problem is the media you're growing in, not the fact that you flushed. I grow a lot of streptocarpus and African violets. They like a lot of air in their media. Now, a lot of us will grow with a peat moss-based potting media, plus 20, 30, or even 50% perlite to lighten up that media. If you do that properly, flushing won't harm the plant. Now, if your media is too thick, it's not light enough, you haven't put enough perlite in, those plants won't like flushing. But they also don't like proper watering. You might be the person who's growing them quite well in regular peat moss, but you're very careful about watering, so you only put a little teaspoonful every time. And they grow fine. Now you come along and flush and it's too wet. But again, the problem is your watering technique and the media you're using. Get those plants in the right kind of media with enough perlite, flushing won't harm them. The potting media cannot get too wet. Let me explain why this is. If we take a potted plant, what's in the pot? Well, there's a potting media, let's call it peat moss, that's what most of us use. There are also some nutrients and some microbes, but both of those are in very small quantities, and so we can ignore those. There's a lot of water in that potting media, and there's a lot of air in that potting media. And there's also roots. Now, the roots are important to the plant and they're important to us, but quite honestly, the amount of roots in this pot is not that large. A potted plant is mostly soil, water, and air. As it dries, the amount of air increases and the amount of water decreases. When we water, we push all the air out and it's replaced with water. And so the amount of water and air is constantly going up and down as the pot gets drier and we water and so on. So what happens if I put a whole bunch of water in the pot? Well, the excess comes out the bottom. The pot can only hold so much water. If all the air is squeezed out, what's in the pot? Soil and water, that's it. And there's only so much room for the water. So you cannot overwater your pot. the excess runs out the bottom. Now, you can water your plant too often. Some people water every day, and that's too often. The plant likes to dry out. But it's not a case of adding too much water. And therefore, flushing will never add too much water. So why do we flush? There are several reasons. One is the fertilizer. When we're growing our plants, we add fertilizer to make the plants grow. But that fertilizer might accumulate in the pot. If the plant doesn't use up all the fertilizer and you add some more, and the plant uses some of it and you add some more, it slowly builds up over time. It also builds up in an irregular way. So even though you're fertilizing the right ratio of, say, NP and K, those change as the plant takes what it needs. And so you get this unbalanced fertilizer in the pot. Flushing washes the old nutrients out and replaces it with fresh nutrients in the right ratio. Alkaline water can also be a problem. Now, alkaline water is different than hard water. And I have a blog post that explains those differences to you. I'll put a link to that in the description. Water with a high alkalinity means that it has a lot of carbonates in the water. And those carbonates tend to precipitate out with certain minerals, particularly calcium and magnesium. So if we put a lot of carbonates in our pot, the amount goes up and things start precipitating. It takes those nutrients out of solution. They build up over time, and you see that as a white crust on the top of your soil. Flushing tends to wash these excess carbonates out. So if you have very hard water or very alkaline water, flush more often to wash these things out. Different nutrients have different solubility in this potting media, both with respect to water. How much does the nutrient actually dissolve in the water? How well does the nutrient stick to the potting media? So things like nitrogen and sulfur, they don't stick very much to the potting media, and they tend to flow through the pot and out the bottom. It's one reason why there's always a deficiency of nitrogen in our pot. This creates another imbalance in the pot. Flushing corrects that imbalance. Another thing most people don't think about is the fact that plants produce thousands of chemicals, and many of those are excreted through the root. So after a few weeks and months, the potting media is full of all kinds of chemicals, and some of those are actually toxic to the plant that's producing them. It's a good idea to flush because the flushing process washes those out. In effect, flushing takes potting media that has all kinds of chemicals in it that are not good for our plants and cleans it up. It converts that potting media from an old contaminated potting media back to a new potting media. This is one of the reasons why you can use the potting media longer if you flush. It stays fresh longer. What about bottom watering and wick watering? How does that affect this whole equation? Bottom watering and wick watering are essentially the same thing as far as the water in the pot goes. Water is constantly being soaked up into the pot. That water moves up through the pot, through the potting media to the surface. There, the water evaporates and more water comes in from the bottom. And it goes to the top and evaporates, and more water comes in the bottom, and so on and so on. The problem is that our nutrients don't evaporate. So when this water evaporates from the top of a pot, it leaves behind all the nutrients, and they get more and more concentrated. And eventually they build up this white crust that you see on top of the pot. It's very similar to the white crust you see in a kettle in the kitchen. You boil the water, it evaporates, and leaves behind a white crust. Well, the same thing happens in our pot. That white crust is concentrated salts, and that can harm our plant roots. So if you're bottom watering or wick watering, it's even more important to flush more often. You want to wash those things out. You want to take that concentrated salts that are at the top of the pot and wash them out the bottom and refresh the whole pot. There's one other claim for flushing that I'd like to address. People who are growing tomatoes and cannabis in pots claim that if you flush them before harvesting, you improve the flavor. Now, there is a study that looked at this for cannabis, and they found no effect whatsoever. For cannabis, it's pretty clear that this is just a myth. I didn't find anything for tomatoes, and quite honestly, I didn't look very hard. But I doubt it changes the flavor of tomatoes. If you find a study that shows a different result, put it in the comments so I get a hold of that study. But in general, you can be pretty sure that flushing plants is not going to change the flavor of the fruit that those plants are making, or the buds in the case of cannabis. I want to leave you with one last comment about watering. I think it's one of the biggest myths in gardening. Plants can be harmed with too much water, and so people have it in their heads that if they water too much, it harms plants. But that's simply not true. When you water, you can water as much as you want, whether it's in a pot or even in the garden. In both cases, the excess water runs away. You can stand there all day long and water your plant. The excess water runs away. The problem is with people who water too often. You see, if you water your plant a lot on Monday and then you leave it alone till Saturday, the plant has a chance to partially dry out, which is good for the root system. But if you water on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Saturday, it never has a chance to dry out. And that's what harms plants. It's the frequency of watering, not how much you water at the time you water. If you learn to water at the right frequency, you won't harm plants. I hope this has been helpful. Consider flushing your plant. It will do them some good. Thank you very much for your support. If you'd like to connect directly with me, the best way is through my Facebook group, Garden Fundamentals. We'll answer all of your questions there. I also have a blog called Garden Myths, where I've debunked over 2,000 different myths. I'll put links to all of these in the description below. Happy gardening.